The cutting edge of German technology, expressed in the most modern engine and gearbox design of the Audi Q5, can be a challenge for aftermarket users. The compact crossover Audi Q5 was first released in November 2008. The car is built on the MLP modular platform, same with the A5 and A4 models, with a longitudinal arrangement of the power unit and quattro permanent all-wheel drive. The quattro drive is based on the torsion center differential, which is asymmetric in the Audi Q5. With the same grip on all coated wheels, the differential distributes torque between the front and rear axles in a ratio of 40:60, giving the car the character of a classic car with rear-wheel drive habits. The range of engines initially included two diesels, a 2.0-liter inline-4, 170 horsepower, 350 Nm, and a more impressive 3.0-liter V6, 240 horsepower, 500 Nm. The gasoline turbo engine with direct injection had a volume of 2.0 liters and a power of 211 horsepower, with a torque of 350 Nm. One of the notable features of the Q5 is the 7-speed S-tronic robotic gearbox. In fact, this is a DSG transmission reconfigured for a longitudinal arrangement of the motor with pre-selected gear shifting and two wet clutches. The box is designed for power flow up to 550 Nm and is designed exclusively for all-wheel drive vehicles. For this reason, a torsion center differential is integrated into it, as well as a front gear drive shaft without cardan joints. The shaft is located at an angle of 7.2 degrees to the longitudinal axis inside the box body and is driven by bevel gears. Another interesting technical point, the box crankcase is divided into two parts, each with its own type of lubricant. 7 liters of ATF oil wash the wet clutches and the mechatronics unit, 4.5 of the usual high-point oil, the rest of the gears and clutches. Along with S-tronic boxes, the car is equipped with the 6-speed mechanics. Suspension Q5 has not undergone significant changes in comparison with passenger models A4 and A5. Certain parts of the subframes, levers have been slightly strengthened, the settings of shock absorbers and springs have been changed, the geometry of the steering trapezoid has been slightly modified. The front and rear suspensions are multi-link, most of their elements are made of light alloys. In 2009, the list of versions was supplemented by 2 new engines, a 2.0 TDI diesel, 143 horsepower, and a 2.0 TFSI petrol, 180 horsepower. The latter also has a version of 225 liters. And it was the 2.0 TFSI gasoline engine that became the most popular among Russian buyers. A little later, the car underwent a restyling, and instead of a 7-speed robot, a conventional 8-speed automatic appeared in pair with the 2-liter turbo engine. And this is not accidental. Each of the components of the power unit, both the turbo engine and the S-tronic, deserved a lot of fair criticism. The increased oil consumption of the 2-liter TFSI engine is a parable in the town of fans of the brand, and Q5 in particular. Since the car was initially positioned as dynamic and even sporty, driving with frequent cheering of the engine to the red line of the tachometer is a common thing. Just as usual for some, oil consumption of 1 liter per 1,000 kilometers, with the officially permissible 500 grams per thousand, or even more, has become common. Q5 electronics are trained to determine the level and display it in a special subsection of the menu, but, as it turned out, this does not always happen. Since long-term driving at high engine speeds is fraught with serious oil waste, the risk of getting a jammed engine in the absence of any emergency indication increases many times over. The group's engineers have taken a number of technical measures against high oil consumption, and from the 11th week of 2011, the problem, according to Audi technicians, should have gone away. But for cars of 2009 to 2010, the condition of the engine and especially the large amount of lost oil from shift to shift should alert the potential owner, as well as accustom him to the normal check procedure, not with the engine running, but as usual, 3 minutes after stopping it sucks. Servicemen offered to begin with replacing the oil separator, crankshaft oil seal and rewriting the software, altogether, about 9,000 rubles, but the only radical remedy against high oil consumption is to replace the piston group. The procedure is not simple and not cheap, at least 50,000 rubles. But to be completely honest, on most of the early Q5s, the piston was already replaced during the warranty period or later under the Colon's post-warranty customer support program. In addition to piston wear, it is not uncommon for a defect in the intake manifold flap drive housing. His replacement under the Kalan's program is about another 4,000 rubles. Another thing in itself is the 7-speed S-tronic. The well-conceived and technologically implemented gearbox was a pleasure to use, but in an ordinary traffic jam it suddenly began to twitch, spontaneously switch, and the emergency mode of the box, a burning yellow gear on the dashboard. The situation with the repair is similar to the 2.0 TFSI engine, the initial replacement of the mechatronic unit, about 20,000 rubles, the possible replacement of clutches, another 15,000 rubles, and if there is no long-term result, the subsequent verdict on the repair of the box, about 60,000 rubles. But here, too, the problems of growth of the new units of the concern, most likely, have already been resolved by the first owner. However, when purchasing a used Audi Q5 crossover, pay special attention to the condition of the engine with the box and its service and dealer history. Other components and assemblies of the Audi Q5 are quite reliable and durable. Suspension elements, if you do not abuse high-speed driving on potholes, require revision no more than once every 20,000 kilometers. Electronic systems are not prone to large-scale failures and errors.